Did you know there was a Da Vinci Code board game? Me neither. Does it suck? Let's talk about it. What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner? Ahoy there, YouTube! We're back again today for another Thoughts from the Corner. I'm here with my good friend Lucy.
Hey!
And Adam.
Yep.
And we're talking about the Da Vinci Code, based on the motion picture for 2 to 6 adult players. The quest for the truth, uncover clues to solve 15 different mysteries. That's a lot of stuff on that box. This is a game in which you are going to have a board out in the center, and you are going to be rolling and moving a d6 die to get around this board. Because on this board, there will be cards set up here and cards set up in all the corners and cards in the middle. So you're going to go around the board trying to look at the cards around the outside, because on these cards are going to be these very elaborate clues. Like this one will say 9, 12, 8, and 5 up top, because if you can successfully solve just this card, then you will be able to go to your handy-dandy little pad of paper, and everybody has this, and fill in, hopefully, the 9, 10, 12, and 15, and you'll have letters up here, and the letters will help you gain the answer to the 20 letter clue up top. In order to decipher that card, because it's not that easy, because it is the Da Vinci Code. If you're not familiar with the Da Vinci Code, it's about this dude who runs from a museum to a museum to a museum to a library, reading crap and figuring out mysteries. So you have to go to the Louvre, to the museum, or the library to look at a bunch of cards, but you only have 30 seconds, because this is all about time. There's 30 seconds here, there's 30 seconds there. It is a very interesting game, but that's the basic synopsis. There's 15 separate puzzles in here that you can play through, and you pretty much just roll and move and look at stuff and try and solve clues related to a bunch of old crap. If you want to see a how to play video or a watch it play video, good luck. But what were your thoughts on the Da Vinci Code board game? First impressions.
I really enjoyed it. I liked that you were able to take your turn immediately after the next person, gets on their space.
Yeah, so this is a really interesting aspect of the game. In a lot of games like this, the game will come to a stall when someone is looking at a clue card. However, with this one, you can look at the card as long as you want, and as long as nobody else comes to that spot, which is really interesting. And there's some other times where there's a 30-second sand timer, but yeah, I just wanted to explain how that
works. And the thing is, when that 30-second sand timer happens, it's like, oh, I can take a little breath. I can look at the clues that I was and kind of regroup. It didn't happen a ton, which I really enjoyed. The puzzles were really fun. They were interesting and, trying to figure out, I need to find this piece of this picture. And so you go to all the picture cards, and I look through the entire thing, and I'm like, it isn't here! It isn't here! Someone took it! Is it not?
Is it not here?
Because when
pieces of puzzles, and you also have to pay attention to what the card says, too, because at the end of the game, there's also bonus points. So there's answers to just hey, who did this painting? I was looking at the painting. I didn't know who painted it, what year it was made in, or whatever. It's little bits
it's factual information too.
Yeah,
it's not just made up stuff. It's this is actually the person who painted this, and these are actual people, information about actual people.
And what Adam was talking about there, you have 30 seconds, and you go to the Louvre, and it's not that you have one card. Most of the time, you'll have one card you're looking at. When you go to the Louvre, you get handed 12, 20 cards. You're oh my god, I need to find some information about this painting that I found. And it can be stressful.
Yeah, and it's a little paragraph of stuff to read on
and you need to read all of it, because it might have answer to the questions Lucy was talking about, because there's 5 questions at the end, which can score you up to 30 points.
Yeah.
And I got -7, so 30 points is a lot.
Yeah. And it's not because I think the highest point player was 35 or something. So again, you didn't make a lot of...
Alan won, and he had 40.
40, yeah.
Yes, and he was taking extra notes, I think. No, he wasn't, but he had very efficient notes.
Well, I also liked that there were special cards that let you move anywhere you wanted, or look at somebody else's sheet. And if you held on to those the whole game, at the end, they're negative points. So it really was you want to get rid of those. You want to use them a lot. And just I need to get rid of these because this is minus points.
But it also has a really interesting system, because when you go to one of these corner spots, if you're going to get the bus or the computer that you were talking about. So then it becomes ooh, do I want to go over there? Granted, it's roll and move, so you don't have as much choice.
That's the only thing. Because it's a roll and move, you're kind of limited in what you can do. It sort of takes a clue gameplay style, I guess, of just rolling and move to try to find some clues. So you look at the top of the cards, and I'll have the numbers, because usually the cases are in a little 10 square of cards. So you're oh, this card's 50, and that's part of the clues, so I can look at that or something. Or oh, this card's 9, I really need a clue, I don't need to have another computer in my hand.
Yeah. You can like Tyler went through a period where he couldn't land.
No,
on
that
anything.
was the whole game.
Like
That
he
is-
would get 4, and
Yeah.
either way, it was like he gets nothing. Like or he gets on something that would not help him at all. Like doesn't matter if you look at 20 pictures if you don't know what you're trying to look for.
Or you can totally screw people over if they get a fresh card and they're like, ooh, I get to look at this card now. And then if you
You
immediately
just
go to that
spot.
So if you go to this side of the board, you say, oh, no, put that card back. And then you draw the top card. And if someone goes there immediately, like, oh, they're like, oh, you put the card back. It has really interesting flow.
But the thing is, when you do that, it cycles through those cards really quick.
Yes, it does. And then you pick it up later. You're like, damn it, I already saw this card.
And it's just like, you're just so desperate for a clue. I'm like, oh, finally, something within the 50 range. You're like, oh, I already got this clue 3 times already, so that's nice.
What do you think about it, Lucy?
It's okay. I do like it. Like, this was made in like 2007 or 2009?
I don't know.
I think it's 2006.
2006?
I think it's a
So-
2022 release.
Oh.
Nope, 2006.
Okay. So I think this is kind of like a board game ahead of its time with like the mystery genre, because I can kind of see like what it's going for.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a little bit innovative, because again, it's 2006. This is before the golden age of board games. So this is kind of ahead of its time, using like a mystery game of like having everybody compete mystery wise. So I think I can't really doubt it for that. But it is after again. But like now we're playing like more mystery games that are like more involved and just like a little more, I guess, fairer. Because there's other games similar to this, like that one Sherlock and Holmes game that have you guys played? It's similar. We go to locations and pick up clues to read clues. And it's, I mean...
Those play very differently, though.
Yeah, but
I liked this one
similar
better.
concept.
Really?
I did. I thought that the way that the clues worked was like really interesting, and the fact that it was just such quick play. Like the play was so.
The
you were
quick play
always
was
doing
really
something.
good.
Yeah.
But
Except the sand timer.
Again, I mean, I will say at the end of the game, though, when you know you're going to lose, you're kind of just waiting for the person who's ahead to kind of just please end the game to win. Especially if you're not doing anything, or just like getting like multiple cards in your hand of just like taxi, but everywhere that takes me is another taxi.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's the only thing. 'Cause, look, if you get some clue cards, and you're pretty set. But again, with the whole people trying to steal your clue cards from your hand by going to the same spot, between like going that, you can't really play the mystery game as well.
Now, one thing we didn't mention, which could be a selling point to a lot of people, is that there's not just a how to play video on this. There's actually a how to play DVD included in the box.
Oh,
what'd you think about that?
Because it was 2006.
What'd you think? Yeah, that's boom.
Oh, it came with that. That's actually really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was decent.
Oh, yeah.
A little loquacious, but yeah. So, final thoughts. Obviously, the big question is, if I handed it to you, would it make your collection?
I don't think so, just because at my house it probably wouldn't get played.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I do enjoy it, and I would definitely play it over and over again.
I think after you got past the 15 missions, it might be
Well,
hard
yeah.
because, but still, it's a lot of missions.
That's the nature
that's
of
a lot
those
of
kind of
times.
games. You kind of come into those games expecting that. Like some games, you just can't play those cases again.
But even 15 is a nice number.
Again, like how many board games have you played in your
15
collection 15
times.
times?
Yeah.
All of them. Every single one of them.
Oh yeah, really? You played Blurt 15 times?
Which one?
Blur?
No, I never played that. Hey, would you want this, Lucy? I think I know the answer.
No, there's so many better games, but I will say it's probably it deserves a spot just for being an innovator. Again, in 2006, it came with a DVD for its own instructions.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like
Before,
this.
again, that wasn't really a thing until like YouTube, and people like had like QR codes to the YouTube videos for that. So like, I think this game is at the most a very innovator for those kind of mystery genres and just how to play videos in general.
I think this is definitely punching above its weight. I'm glad you brought up comparing it to other games of this time period. Because, 16 years ago, I imagine this would have blown your pants off if you're like a fan of this style of puzzly game.
What company was it?
It was Rose Art. Like the crayon makers. Yeah, Rose Art.
Okay.
Honestly, like the production, also the production value is for this time at 2006, when people only knew maybe Catan at most. Like,
oh yeah,
this is something like not normal. Again, it has its own Da Vinci Code like licensing.
Yeah, these are custom. You can't really tell from here, but it says DVC on it. And then we didn't even mention this, but there's actually like a bunch of really cool ciphers that you can use. Like, why don't you take these out of
it
the
does
box?
give you, and like I will say, like it
and
does
it's a
like,
nice
teach you
sand
about little
timer.
ciphers.
Like, Quality components. Really
It could definitely use another sand timer though on the con side. So if you if you plan on getting this, I would just find another 30-second sand timer, especially at the higher player counts, because that's the only time the game stalled was when someone would need the 30-second sand timer. Be like, I actually need it too, so we just got to pause there. And it was very noticeable, I think. But if we had another 30-second sand timer, I think that would have probably trimmed about 5-10 minutes off this thing too.
Well, I got a timer on my watch we could have used.
All right, well.
We all had phones also. We really could have just done a lot of other things.
Everybody's got a timer in their pocket.
But yeah, honestly, I mean, I will say that it deserves some recognition for being above its time, being ahead of its time.
I agree, and I'm glad you brought that up. I think it was definitely punching above its weight class. The rule booklet's not the greatest, though, I will say that. They do that stupid thing where they explain every single component before showing you the setup, but it's not terrible. So in the end, the Da Vinci Code, the board game, we all felt like it was okay to great. Really good, yeah.
If I didn't play it now, if I played it before I played other board games, I would probably have a good spot in my heart for this game.
Yeah, you see this one at the thrift shop, and you like the puzzly style games? Don't think twice.
Yeah.
That is the Da Vinci Code, the board game. You thought it was going to suck, so did I, but it doesn't. If it looks like it might be your cup of tea, then go to Goodwill or eBay. If you're enjoying this content, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below. As I'm trying to reach 13,000 subscribers before I die. And in the comments below, please let me know how I'm going to die.
I'm going to do like a Da Vinci Code type theme, because... Okay.
Go ahead, do it.
Yeah, how am I going to die Da Vinci Code style? Tom Hanks going to murder me?
Oh, okay. Probably.
Because that'd be pretty badass. I mean, not getting murdered, but just meeting Tom Hanks. I'm assuming he's not going to do it from the back.
I don't know, probably just... I don't want to talk about how you're going to... You're gonna...
I don't want to mess up your plan, sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Antimatter bomb.
Antimatter, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Well, I know the comments below. As always, thanks for your time, YouTube.
What? What was that question?
This video is brought to you by all of my amazing Patreon supporters, and I would love it if you would join their ranks and have your name immortalized in the end of many of my videos for the end of time. But consider for only $1 a month, and as always, thanks for stopping by.